Hello, Coast to Coasters. Welcome to our September virtual event. This is Karen Mahoney here. Unfortunately, I can't be live with you tonight. I am away for my 60th birthday, but I wanted to make sure I had something for you to create. And so I'm going to make a fun little one-page layout that I am going to use the new Autumn Cottage collection, and I'm going to use the Rustic Fence Border Maker cartridge. This is what it looks like. I love this cartridge. It's adorable. It's kind of a bring back, which means it was released a long time ago, and they re-released it last year and it sold out really quickly, and now it's back again. Hopefully by the time you're watching this it's still available, but you never know. So I'm going to use this. You could use lots of different border maker cartridges for what we're doing today. Anything but a chain style probably will not work. So the knockout style, the kind that holds on to the page, I can't think of the name. That's what this is, because you'll see when I make this, when I punch this particular one, it still hangs onto the page. So I'll show you what that means as we get started. You're going to need your 12-inch trimmer and possibly this is the 12-inch trimmer, possibly your new photo trimmer if you want to make some smaller cuts in for your photos, maybe a pair of scissors, and definitely your border maker system with an appropriate cartridge that will work. And I'm using let's see, I kind of like, when I do layouts, I like my layouts to be sturdy. I don't shy away from using extra paper because I have so much. If you're someone that does not want to use as much paper as me, please just adjust to what you like, because I'm going to use a base cardstock, and then I'm going to use I'm going to cut down a piece of designer paper. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet, which is why I have them both. I'm going to be using some brown cardstock. And then for my mats, I'm probably going to use this cardstock. But, just get a bunch of papers that go together and just wing it and see how it goes for you. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut down. Actually, I'm going to wait to cut down my designer paper because I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. So I'm actually going to grab my brown cardstock to start cutting with my border maker system. So I'm going to take my trimmer. I'm going to cut this to make a 10 by 10 square. Turn it this way. I have limited space here. To get a 10 by 10 square, you need to cut an even amount on two adjacent sides. So I'm going to cut 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and I should have my square. And then I'm going to turn it, cut my 2 inches again. And I have a 10 by 10 square. So I'll have to open up my border maker system. And what I want you to notice, when you pull the tray out from underneath, you're going to see that there are these lines that go down. Each one of these lines, I'm not really sure the measurements, but what we're going to do when we line up our paper is I'm going to put my cardstock between this first line here and the last line here. So it's kind of like you're holding it in the center. So it's good. It's just a good center point. And then I'm going to hold it down. So it should look like this. Okay. I'm going to put my tray underneath because it's securely held by the magnets. And because my paper is in the center here, I'm not going to make my first punch. To make a full border, there are 6 punches. So I'm skipping punch number 1 and I'm skipping punch number 6. So I'm cutting at the 2nd position, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then I'm stopping. So you can see I have a little space here and a little space there, and that's okay. So I'm going to take this out, open up my tray once again, and I'm going to rotate this once, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. So I'm going to line it up between those 2 lines. So it's just centered. Put my tray away, and I'm doing the exact same thing again. Cutting at the 2nd position, 3rd, 4th, and 5th only. And I'm going to do this 2 more times, so I've made a complete box. Hope everybody is enjoying their September and this weather that's not quite as hot as it was. So again, I centered it and I'm at the 2nd position. And 5th. I'm going to do it 1 more time. Careful to center it. You should be able to see it through your tray without a problem. Get my debris out of my way. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So now I'm done with this. And this is what you'll have. If you're using the rustic fence, this is what you should have left over. I encourage you to experiment with some scrap paper and try different cartridges and see what you get. So now what I'm going to do is you can choose to, and I'm going to show you some examples when I'm done, but you can certainly choose to keep the squares in the corner, which is really cute. You can just embellish them. You can keep the squares and the little line, or I would probably, if I was keeping the squares, would probably cut this little edge off so it looks like this. That's more than likely what I would do. But I'm, for this one, am not going to keep the squares, but it's definitely something you can do. So I'm going to cut the squares off just by using my scissors. And I'm cutting, actually, I'll show you in a second. Cut this, that would be great. Okay. So I'm cutting, so my fence, I didn't cut enough on this, and that's fine, I can go back. So my fence posts kind of stick out a little. You can choose to make it flush against the fence if you want to do that. Depends on your layout and what is the look that you would like. I'm going to go all the way around and get this all snipped up. Easy enough, easy as pie. This is actually a pretty simple layout. This is probably the hardest part, is right here. So get rid of my debris, clean up my space. And I'm going to create my bottom. I'm going to actually show you the other layout that I made that is similar. Let me just show you a couple examples just so you can see what I mean. I'll show you this one first. Let me get a piece of plain cardstock. And this is the one that I just did. It looks like that, just in a different color. This is one I did with the automobiles. I don't really remember what it was called. Border maker cartridge. I left the squares on there, and I also left this on here just for a different look. Okay. And here is a layout I made with a knockout style border maker cartridge. So you have the little knockout butterflies, but I left the squares here. It cuts differently when it's a knockout. So I had a big blank spot right here. So I just cut little squares and put it on top of that blank squared area. So this is just a sample that you can see if you're using a different style border maker cartridge. Again, I don't think the chain is going to work as well, and it will be a lot harder to figure out. Now, this is one I made using the Comfortable Camper border punch. So I didn't even use a border maker cartridge on this one. And you can see it's not perfect. I used a little, experimental and scissor work here and cut in little places. And this right-hand corner didn't look so good. So I just put an embellishment over it. I put my title down there, and I thought it looked great. So let's keep going on the one we're working on. I want my bottom sheet to be the orange cardstock. So what I want to do though, and I'm just going to use it as a frame. So what I want to do is cut this down a little bit. I think I'm going to use this one. Let's see what it looks like. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit. And then this is going to go on top. And my other option was, actually there's a couple options because each one of these pieces of paper has another side. That was another option, which looks cute because it just shows the fence a little more. I could also take each one of these and flip it over and do it that way. And let's see, the back of this one was very similar. I don't think it made it very dark. So again, I think you know what? I was really set on those leaves, but I think this gourd sheet, because it has more white space on it, a lighter space, I'm going to use this because it definitely shows off my fence better. All right, decision made. Thank you. So I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going, which is upside down. Actually, I'm going to turn it sideways because I have more room. And I'm on top of my mats. And if it hangs off my mat, sometimes it doesn't cut all the way. So if you ever have troubles with your 12-inch trimmer where it's either not cutting or not cutting straight, make sure it's all the way on your table, because sometimes I've seen people with it hanging off the table, and that's a big, sign of why. Also make sure if you have your trimmer on top of your 13-inch mats, that it's all the way on your mats and not like kind of hanging off of one of them. So I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of two sides. Yep, that should, yeah. 1/2 inch off two sides, just making sure. Always take your time to make sure things are straight. I'll turn it and when you do this, always make sure you're doing this on adjoining sides or you're going to end up with a rectangle. Because we want a square. Oh, I think I cut more. I think I cut more than 1 inch in that one. And I did. So that's okay. Then I'm going to cut another 1/4 inch off of this. So I'm cutting 3/4 of an inch on each one. And that's honestly, that's totally fine. But you know, that's what I get. Just a little bit more. So I would have liked to have done 1/2 inch on 2 sides, but I did 3/4 of an inch on 2 sides. And this is what it looks like. It's still going to look great. Okay. And this is going to go in the center. And what I want to do, if, you know, I'm not, again, just for the sake of time, I'm going to waste all this paper in here. Normally I would take the time to take my trimmer and just gut out the center. I'm not going to bother. So I'm just going to put this on for now. I'm going to see what size I actually made this. Yep, it's a square. So I did 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to stick this on. Here's where my tape runner is. I may be running out, so I'm going to have to probably use my adhesive, which is not my favorite thing to use because it's big and cumbersome. If I run out, that's what I'm going to have to do because all my spare adhesive is in my barn. And it's actually packed up for my retreat. I have a retreat that I'm running with my partner, Tiffany, this coming weekend that I'm recording this. So it's past by the time you're watching this at Great Wolf Lodge. So I'm putting this on. And then I'm going to take this and I could take some repositionable and put it on the fence part. I'm not going to do that for today. I'm just going to center this and put it on. Now, another example, like I showed you on my other layout, I had taken it and I had just made it a little askew like this, turned it like that just for something different to look. I'm going to do this one straight. Hopefully, I'm going to at least attempt to make it straight. And let's see. And put that there. Sorry. You could take, like I could take some of this paper and I could cut a piece and put it right in the center here, which would look super, super cute. That's probably about I'm going to guess about an 8.5 inch piece of paper, square. I can put right in the center, or actually this would look really good right in the center. So I may do that. So I think I'm going to try that. This up. I want to say it's 8.5 inches. Needs to be cut down a little more. I'll cut it down a little more. Oh, actually, it does need to be cut down a little bit more. So let's see, probably another inch. Which would make it 7.5. Do it 7.5 by 7.5. Now, granted, this is not a step you need to do. I'm just showing you what it would look like. And you can take this. I could put that side like that. It's very busy. Or I can put it like this. And then what I want to do, because if I was going to put 3.5 by 3.5 photos, here's just some photo holders that I have. I can put those. That's what it looks like, 4 of them on here. This is 3.5 by 3.5 photos. So I can put that there and then just put my photos right on there, and you don't have to do any mats. So that's actually a great way to do this. I want to fix us. About that. I got a phone call on my phone and it changed the orientation of my video. So I think I'm going to do that. So this was 7.5 by 7.5. So I could have used my cardstock, but I already cut that. So I'm going to use this piece. I think it looks good. Or you could have just matted your photos and put them on here. So I would say probably if you're just putting photos on here and not matting them, you could do 4 by 4 photos. If you want to mat them, the mats can be, I would probably maybe even do 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then have the photos 3.5 by 3.5. We'll put these. Now these are just photo holders because I don't have the photos I'm going to use on this yet. And I'll just remove these later. These are great. These are new for creative memories. These little photo holders, they're great because you can just you could even use some repositionable tape and just kind of hold where you want to put your photos for later. And then I was thinking, if I didn't want to put a photo here, it would be really cute to cut down this mat, which is, maybe I'll cut it at 3.5. Yep. I'm gonna cut this 3.5 by 3.5. And I could take this one out, put this one in. And then the other half of this mat says "So Thankful For," and I'll make it a little bit smaller. We make it like a 2-inch. And I could put it here. I could put it right here and put some stickers or whatever I want on there. And this makes an adorable fall layout. And again, my other ones that I had, I'll make sure this gets posted. Then I have my other ones that I made using the same technique. I have my butterfly layout, and here I just used the circle maker with one of my photos. And this one I used the Comfortable Camper border maker, not border maker, but border punch, and with some journaling boxes and stuff like that for that. So hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your evening with Elise and Deanne, and hopefully I will see you in October. Thank you.